So let's talk about slow living for a moment. Hey, it's Elizabeth with Barefoot and Bloom, bringing it back to my gardens here in Arkansas, in Zone 7. But today I wanted to talk about something. I'm literally just walking around looking at trees and stuff in our yard before I run to town. But I have been, over the last several weeks, intentionally making changes in my life to take a breath and slow down. So you may have noticed from my posting frequency, or you may be someone who's followed me for a long time and knows that I'm a hyper productive person. I love doing things. I love projects. I love going. I love traveling. I work 60 plus hours a week in my accounting firm. Like, I'm always doing something. And for the longest time, I have identified with that as being, that's me. That's who I am. But my soul has really been calling me to slow down, especially the last 2 years. And then I would more so in the last like 2 to 3 months. And you could say this aligned with when I started a GLP-1, because I started one about 6 weeks ago. And in that process, I feel like it has really helped balance my hormones, help with my like lower anxiety, kind of calm the brain and whatever. And so maybe that has something to do with it, who knows? But I am finally like, I'm really being called to like just slow down, do less, be more, you know? And you know, everybody says that, like people talk about that, like slow living. And honestly, for a long time, you know, I've worked so much with my accounting firm because like I had to, you know, there were certain things, you know, I wanted to make X amount of money because we either wanted to do so many trips per year, expand the garden, pay off debt, whatever. There's always a reason, right? And so that's always been my excuse for working so hard and also growing the firm, taking on more clients, and just constantly in this state of production and growth. And I've just kind of hit this point where it's like, that doesn't feel right anymore. And in part of that, you know, our oldest grandson is almost 2. And a big part of that is I've always said, even when I was like in my 20s, that by the time I was a grandmother, I wanted to be able to be like either working or hobbying part-time, and then like part-time, like, you know, up to 20 hours a week, spending time with my grandkids, because that's really important to me. Family is really important to me. And I want to have that availability for our kids, to be their support system, to be their babysitter, or whose house they come to all the time and whatever. And so far it is working out that way. But what I have found is when my grandchild randomly shows up in the middle of a weekday and I'm in the middle of a work grind, I feel really guilty and torn between two worlds. And so I'm making a shift. And this is too long to put into one part, so check out part 2.